What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for joining me once again. Welcome back to the What If series, where I look at two potential wrestlers who could have fought and for some reason never did. We're here part 2 today of Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Brock Lesnar, and this is where we fantasy book it. So in fantasy booking a match between Brock Lesnar and Stone Cold Steve Austin, you really have to make a choice here. Do you want it to be before or after Stone Cold retires? Because both seem like a logical scenario, but there's only one real option, and it's when that match was supposed to originally take place. Because the goal of Stone Cold versus Brock Lesnar was to make Brock Lesnar a star, and if you did it later on, he already is a star, so then it would just be a dream matchup. But the goal is to put Brock Lesnar over and for it to make sense and make the company serious money. So we're going to try to book it from that point on. So fantasy booking this match actually is pretty easy. When you look at the tournament brackets, you see that Brock Lesnar and Stone Cold Steve Austin were supposed to face in the first round, but when Stone Cold left, Bubba Ray Dudley took his place, and Lesnar went on in the tournament to defeat Bubba Ray, Booker T, Test from SmackDown, and then RVD from Raw to win the tournament. And if two Raw guys ended the tournament, then what's the issue with having two Raw guys in the tournament, but just Stone Cold on the other end? So if you just switch a couple of the people around to make some really good matchups, then everything should be fine. You have a build-up between two Raw guys, Stone Cold's redemption story, trying to get to that WWE Championship opportunity that was awarded to the winner, and then Brock Lesnar's rising star coming and fighting the known veteran. So here's how we will switch it up. We will switch out Stone Cold and RVD. So RVD will fight Lesnar. But we don't want to do that yet. We want to build up RVD just a little bit. So one of the other matches in the bracket is William Regal versus Booker T. So we will switch Regal and RVD. So Booker T will fight RVD in one heck of a matchup. And William Regal, a technical veteran, will fight Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar will beat him with ease, and RVD will beat Booker T, so those two will fight in the semifinals. Meanwhile, on the top of the card, instead of RVD being on top, Stone Cold will fight Eddie Guerrero, and X-Pac will continue to fight Goldust. X-Pac will win and fight Stone Cold after beating Eddie Guerrero in the semifinals for Raw. Meanwhile, all of SmackDown stays the same, with the Big Valvoski, Val Venus winning, Jericho winning, Test winning, and Hardcore Holly winning. All four of them will continue to stay in the spots. SmackDown's going to stay relatively the same, but it's just the Raw bracket's going to get changed up a bit. So, to the semifinals, RVD and Lesnar have a really good match, and Lesnar wins. Stone Cold will fight X-Pac. Stone Cold will win in a pretty quick time. I would love to see that happen. Jericho and Val Venus will fight, and Jericho will win. And Test and Hardcore Holly will fight, and Test will win. That sets up Lesnar Test, just like at the real pay-per-view, and Jericho Stone Cold, kind of a revenge for vengeance in 2001. To see that story just build a little bit there, Jericho could talk about how he's beaten Stone Cold before, he's beaten The Rock before, and he will do it again at the King of the Ring tournament. Instead of having the King of the Ring tournament culminate with those 3 matches at the end of the pay-per-view, I want to do 2 matches, Raw versus SmackDown, one on Raw, one on SmackDown, in the next week. So that way, the big match has really enough time to settle. So we'll do Stone Cold and Jericho on Raw, and Lesnar and Test on SmackDown. It kind of fitting considering Lesnar ends up going to SmackDown after he wins the Undisputed Championship. So we'll have Stone Cold and Jericho on Raw, which Stone Cold wins, and Lesnar and Test on SmackDown, with Lesnar wins. And at the end of the match on SmackDown, Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out, and both him and Lesnar have a face-to-face. Here we are, the final go-home Raw before King of the Ring. Stone Cold Steve Austin and Brock Lesnar, 2 Raw guys fighting in the main event of King of the Ring for the opportunity to be called King of the Ring and for a chance at WWE Championship at SummerSlam. These two are going to have one final face-up, but Brock Lesnar is going to be represented by Paul Heyman. They're going to have a back-and-forth promo. Austin saying things like, I've made a career out of proving people wrong, proving Vince McMahon, any of his doubters wrong, winning championships, and he is going to win a championship again to stay relevant. Meanwhile, Paul Heyman is saying things like Brock Lesnar's the next big thing. He's a guaranteed WWE champion, and Stone Cold better watch what he say, or he's going to eat an F5 from the next big thing. An intense stare down ensues, where Brock Lesnar and Steve Austin go nose to nose. You know that thing like that when their heads are against each other and it makes them look like they're just supposed to have a really vicious kiss, but it's not necessarily a thing. I need to stop talking. But anyway, Stone Cold, Brock Lesnar face off at the end of Raw, making people really hype for this match. And just like any of the great matches of the past, a video package has hyped Stone Cold's road to redemption and Brock Lesnar's rise to stardom all through their King of the Ring tournament matches. Main event, Brock Lesnar, Stone Cold Steve Austin, WWE Championship shot on the line, King of the Ring shot on the line. Who will win? Brock Lesnar or Stone Cold Steve Austin? The veteran or the newcomer? The Beast or the Rattlesnake? And that is it for part 2, where I took a look at how to fantasy book it, changing up some of the bracket and getting those two to the main event of King of the Ring. What do you think about the fantasy booking? What would you change? Let me know down in the comments below. Hit the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button to see more videos, and hit the bell so you can be notified first about any videos to the Wrestle-Magic podcast. I'm Michael Cruz once again, and thank you for watching. See you in part 3.